Welcome to Phonogenics 101, a Riotboy production hosted by Jeremy Gloff. The podcast where people who love music discuss albums track by track. Please hit subscribe, and if you'd like to support this podcast, patreon.com/Jeremy Gloff or Venmo @Jeremy Gloff. And now, on to the music. Hello, friends. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. This is the podcast where we take an album and we talk about it track by track. Before I start, I'm going to give a begging and pleading to everybody that if you watch this podcast, just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers, and I'm not a person that gets all thirsty and desperate on my social media begging people. I put one post up, but every week it climbs up, and we're getting there. We're up to 901. When I started really pushing this was like at 820, so someone's watching out there. But I also have to thank my Patreon subscribers. I believe we have some here. And thanks to everyone that supports this podcast. It's very much appreciated. And tonight we are ending the 1980s with Eurythmics. We started off in 1981, correct, with In the Garden. And we went through quite a wild ride with them through their huge breakthrough albums, their experimental soundtrack, towards a more rock and roll style, and then back to the electronic. And then tonight we end out the 80s with the album We Two Are One. So we don't have anybody new to the podcast tonight. We have all of our lovely friends here. Let me just say one thing. This is a casual discussion. We don't fact check, so if we get something wrong, you are welcome to kindly say so in the comments. Someone left every week there's like one nasty comment, and we got one like 2 days ago. Not the Eurythmics family. It was on the Madonna ones. The guy said, "Are you guys even fans of her at all? Because it just sounds like a Jeffrey, you're on the one, the American Life one. Someone who didn't like our podcast.
I love American Life.
I do too, but that it's a divisive album.
Yeah, I think I gave it a low ranking. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did.
I do love that album, but it's one of those ones I loved more at the time than now. But anyway, back to Eurythmics. Speaking of divisive albums, here we are with We Two Are One. So I know a lot of you here. First of all, who got the Eurythmics and Dave Stewart record store day stuff?
I got the Dave Stewart.
I got the Dave Stewart and my Be Yourself Tonight's in the mail from Canada.
Yeah.
And
As it so happened.
oh, it's so beautiful.
Yay.
Oh, lovely. I can't wait.
Beautiful.
Record store day. Yeah, I saw your post. I was jealous. Record store day nearly killed me this year. I feel like I need a shirt that says my bank account survived record store day. There were so many things, and there's so many things that were from the UK. Marianne Faithfull had an EP of the last music she ever recorded, UK only right now.
Oh, wow.
The Eurythmics. There was a Tina Turner, Bryan Adams single I wanted to get. And
trying to find the Be Yourself Tonight or any of the other like UK ones. You can Rough Trade.
Oh yeah,
your shop has it.
Cool. I think one other thing before we go into We Two Are One, we should have a moment of tribute to Clem Burke, who passed away, who did perform on many Eurythmics albums. The Blondie family was so distraught that we had to push back the podcast for the month because it happened like the day before we were supposed to.
Oh no.
So,
yeah. It's been nice though to see tribute after tribute after tribute. Yeah.
Indeed.
And he was such an important part it was on the first Eurythmics album, of course, and
right.
The Revenge tour. I just think of him as part of the Eurythmics family. I would do just Jimmy Z and Jonice and Pat Seymour. So yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, real big loss, and we still have Blondie had just finished up an album, so it's kind of sad it'll come out after his passing away. So has anybody here ever met Clem Burke?
What?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
that's cool.
All good things, right? I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Clem Burke.
Yeah,
Nicest guy ever.
I'm sorry.
And so young.
Yeah, how old was he?
Just turned 70.
Shit.
I met him he was at a concert, the band Television, who he played with a member of Television he had a band called Checkered Past, which was like a one-off.
Uh-huh.
But I met him at the show. He was with another, a client of mine who owns a venue. And then like a week later, I was on a plane to Boise for work, and he was on the same plane.
Oh, nice.
He was really nice. He was just super. He remembered me. It was really nice.
Aw.
That's cool.
I saw him backstage at the Big Audio Dynamite concert, and I took a picture of Mick Jones of The Clash and Big Audio Dynamite, Clem Burke, and Tina, and her husband from Talking Heads and Tom Tom Club.
Chris Friend.
Chris Frantz, yeah.
That's great. Amazing.
Yeah, and then I think all of them reposted it at one point, and I mean this picture was like 12 years ago or something like that, but all super nice, and especially Clem. But R.I.P.
Yeah, Clem, we were fans. You were a friend from afar to all of us. You provided the heartbeat for much of our life, and thank you for it. If you're watching up there or down there or wherever you go, know that you are loved here on this planet. All right. Well, Oh yeah, Lynn, go ahead.
No, I was
Oh,
singing a kiss to.
Yeah.
perfect. Oh, well, 1989, Madonna, Like a Prayer was hot. Jeffrey, was that the Batman soundtrack, 89? A lot of music was changing. Lisa Stansfield, wasn't she coming out, or was that still a little bit?
Yep. No, cold cut.
What year was Wilson Phillips? Hold on.
88?
Yep.
I
So
think that was 2000.
Oh,
2000. No, it wasn't. In the
I'm
midst of
sorry, 1990. I'm sorry.
1990. Well, in the midst of all this, the Eurythmics came out with an album, and I remember being at my grandma's house where she had MTV, I did not, and I just remember seeing a live performance of one of the songs on the album, just thinking like, this is the most uninspired thing I've ever seen, and I totally skipped the album and didn't buy it till many years later when I transitioned from vinyl to CD. But we have a lot of people here that were fans in real time, so let's start going on telling the stories of when the album came out. Now, Lynn, let's start with you. Did you do your drive through the Hollywood
Pardon me?
Hills? Did you
well,
do your-
actually, no, I didn't. This is the one I didn't. I, from the fan club, I got invited to the launch party along with Mark, who's down this way to me. It was August 28th, 1989 at the Pantages Theater right there on Hollywood Boulevard. And it was great. And it was really, I have a couple things I remember. And then first off, Mark and I were standing very close to one another, but we did not know one another.
Okay.
And now we seem to know everybody in between us because I have all these people from where he's from. But a couple things I remember specifically is they sang Angel twice at the beginning and the end. I don't know, Mark, do you remember that?
I do not remember that. So interesting.
And then I think it was Annie, but maybe it was Dave because he played slide guitar with a glass. He put it on a table and it broke.
Mhm.
Do you remember that? And then we were given, of course, the CD.
Yeah.
Now in 1989, I did not have a CD player.
Yeah.
So I remember walking out onto Hollywood Boulevard. I lived in the Hollywood Hills, just like 7 minutes away. I lived right by the Hollywood sign, and that's right where it was. Thinking, I can't play it. I can't play it. So I had to find somebody that I could play it. And then I did buy a CD player probably within the week. So
Awesome.
those are my memories of it. And there were lots of people there.
Yeah, I got
celebrities, I mean.
I
cool.
got upstairs and I have a picture with Siobhan Fahey and Harry Dean Stanton. And they were up at the Shakespeare's Sister single Heroine had just come out. And so I was with two friends that I knew from the fan club. And so we just went up and got a picture with them. I did meet Dave and Annie there. We probably could have, but
Yeah.
I was 21 years old. It was the first time I'd ever been on a plane. So I flew all the way across the country from South Carolina. I was on vacation with my family, and they took me to the Savannah, Georgia airport. And I flew by myself at 21 years old, never been on a plane, never been to LA, of course. And great memories. And the show was spectacular. It was in the lobby of the theater, not in the theater. It was in the lobby. And Len and I would have been and no one knew where to go exactly, but we all ended up with the best seats, literally at the very center up front. What we were when they were playing "Would I Lie to You," we were doing the beat on the stage.
Well, we
Yeah.
should also say they were singing on the concession stand of this theater. So they had a platform
Yeah,
on the concession stand. So
Yeah.
we were right there, front row.
And there's a great,
Elbows away, Mark. I'm really feeling badly that we didn't meet.
there's great footage on, I think, an LA
Oh, Ellen,
TV
yeah.
program about it, and you can see me partially, and so I thought that was the best thing ever. But anyway, so I have very fond memories of the album, and some some favorites on it too. Yeah,
Me as well.
and I couldn't play that. I had to fly all the way home. Couldn't play the CD.
All right. Does anyone else have any stories to share?
We better get on it.
All right. Well, the album cover itself, it is a really striking picture of Dave and Annie. But pop music had changed so much by 1989. I do feel like with each Eurythmics album, they kind of had a mission statement. Like Sweet Dreams and Touch, those were the electronic albums. 1984 was experimental, and I felt like they made a conscious decision to do the kind of rock and roll soul with Be Yourself, and then take it even a little bit further with the band sound with Revenge, and then a purposeful switch back to electronics with Savage. But I sitting here right now, I kind of don't understand what the mission statement was for this album. Does
It has
anyone?
darkness. It has a like they've been through a lot in a decade. I mean, they came out with so many albums, so many great records, and toured. And I think wasn't she going through some personal stuff at the time with her child? And I mean, the fact that they even made a record is just miraculous. And then
Well, I
you know,
think that, and I just would touch, I mean, like within like less than a year, Annie had lost a pregnancy at birth,
Okay.
so stillbirth. So she was going through a lot, and it was kind of surprising that she was performing so quickly. I mean, not that I'm saying that, but I think that I thought, well, needed to keep it. She just was performing. It was a pretty amazing that she was there. Super, super, super skinny.
I like what you said a moment ago, though, that that it was dark, and I think maybe the album sort of reflects that light and dark. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the point. And I think really it was, in one sense, it was going to be their version of an adult pop album.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the manifesto of, if you're going to have one.
Okay. That
And I
makes
think
sense.
it was a very, very difficult time for them. I think we'll probably all get into that, but it wasn't the easiest time for them. And of course, we know what was about to happen. But anyway,
There was a lot of build up to it. I know within the fan club there definitely was. I don't know about in the mainstream pop, but the fan club did a lot of build up to it. I mean, they did the besides the Pantages, I believe they did a similar thing in New York.
in New York, yeah.
Kind of like a showcase. And
But-
the reason they may have performed Angel twice is if they were taping it for later use, they wanted, whichever is going to be the best version.
And remember, this was the first album after they had left RCA in the US.
Yeah.
And Bob Davis, had got them, and he was pushing them like nobody's business here. So, he was going all out. So it was a big deal that they had changed record companies here in the US.
Right.
I watched a couple of really good promo videos. So they did do some pretty, they did get into some promotion. One of them was called like the Eurythmics We Tour 1-2, and the other one was it just said Eurythmics We Tour 1 promo video, and they did like the singles acoustic, and it was really good.
They issued that as a promo CD, and then they ended up as B-sides on the singles. So,
But here it is.
Interesting.
but yeah, I mean, I had a lot of,
Well,
I was working at, I think I was in between working for one record store, Turtles, and then helping start the Tower in Atlanta. I was like, went there from the ground up. and it was kind of in between, when the album came out, and there was a lot of promotion. I have a stack of, I still have a stack of like album flats, like probably about that many, like an inch album flats and
Yeah.
posters. Every video was on its own like VHS promo, tape, and then they did a bunch of TV. So like Arsenio Hall,
Yeah, I remember that.
and then they put like the label would put together like promo reels of videos, both the concept videos and like live stuff and interviews. There was a lot.
We Tour 1-2 video has a lot of interviews with Annie on it and Dave, and it really kind of shows some of the struggle she was having vocally at that time. Where she was wrapped up and she had her neck wrapped, and when she was doing some of the interviews, and the acoustic versions of the songs are just phenomenal. I have it on VHS. I want to download it to my computer so I have a digital copy of it. But that's, if you can find that, that's a good one to have.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the title "We Two Are One," this is when their working relationship really started to fracture, right? So it was kind of an ironic title.
Well, and the first song is "We Two Are One," spelled TWO, "We Two," and the album, of course, is TOO. And I think they were, I don't think they had completely fractured by then, but I think by the end it was too much. By the end of the tour. But I mean, and it's the first time that Dave didn't, Jimmy Iovine, is that right? Had to be brought in to be a co-producer to sort of get them together. But
yeah, I didn't know that until I looked it up today.
Yeah. So, and I don't think either one of them looked back fondly on it, because it didn't, nothing from it got included on the Ultimate collection, with the exception of a digital download of it that included the King and Queen of America, which is an odd choice. But, so, it's a little weird, but.
Now, this album wasn't a big hit in the United States, but it did do well in the UK, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't it have a bunch of top 10 hits? Well,
it was 32 in the US, and at the time, that wasn't anything necessarily to sneeze at, but it did better than Savage. So, and I think it had a little bit more longevity than Savage, quite a bit more actually, and it did very well in Canada. So, yeah.
I think, to me, like, this album is the first, personally, it's the first one of theirs that like really sounded of the era. Mm-hmm. Like me, like Sweet Dreams, like I could listen to it today and it feels like an album that is still contemporary. Like this really had like, both image wise, fashion image wise, and just the production of it, and also just some of the kind of the pop, poppiness of it. Even though it is a dark album, but there's still like poppiness to it. And I kind of think they were really emoting the end of the 80s. It was,
I think that's fair. I think
some of the songs live on, like, strongly. Some of them do, but the way they were recorded, the way they were produced, and even the vocals, honestly, like, I think it's a good insight into like what was really going on, like how, like, how different her voice sounded. To me, it was very like, almost hushed and strained in a little bit.
Yeah, I heard that.
Jimmy, Don, as you say that, I wonder, if that was Jimmy. It was the first time that Dave had someone other than himself. So maybe it was produced differently.
And I'm certain I've read where Dave said that he might have disagreed with things, but he purposely didn't say to Jimmy, no, that's not how I would do that. And I don't remember where I read that. I could have dreamed it, but I can look it up. So, but
there was probably pressure too from the. I mean, even though Dave and Andy kind of had almost carte blanche, to do things how they were, I think there still was some pressure to kind of produce in a way.
Right.
And maybe that even had some influence on, given that they're on the new label, so they were really trying to impress Claude. I guess.
What year was it that she got the nodules? And she got nodules on
87?
84.
84, okay.
85.
Okay.
Because she couldn't perform at Live Aid in 1985 because she had throat problem.
That's right.
I don't think there was any problem with her voice at that point. I thought her voice was incredible, but I think, were the songs were they different? Certainly they were different. She's not singing anything like she did on Wide Eyed Girl,
Right.
on this album.
There are moments in it where she really lets loose, and you can hear her, and you can hear the backing vocals too.
Right.
And there's a lot of strength to some of the vocals, but there's some that are a little detached sounding to me.
I felt like a lot of it sounded like she was on autopilot a little bit. Kind of phoning it in.
Yep.
It almost fits when you think about what was actually happening. It almost fits that they would kind of the fact that they named a We Two Are One when it's so ironic. And to me, the irony of them kind of dissipating.
Right.
Well, and I think on the Revival tour, which is what the tour was called, of course, a lot of the songs, if you think some of the songs were kind of muted, but they certainly weren't live. I mean, and some of the songs really took on a whole other level live. Don't ask me why. Even Revival. I mean, my baby's gonna cry.
Oh, that was great live.
So it was interesting. So, yeah.
Well, I always like on an album cover when they list the song titles on the front cover.
I thought that was so bizarre. I've never seen.
It was weird, but kind of cool. Kind of a throwback to the old albums.
60s, they'd the titles on the cover.
And kind of neat too that the album cover, that photo shoot is used in the Don't Ask Me Why video as well.
Yeah.
And beautifully done. I mean, that's one of their best videos.
Dave gets his first. Is this his first cover? It's back cover, but is it his first face shot on an album?
Unless you count the painting on Revenge.
With Dave?
Revenge, yeah.
Oh yeah, with Dave over the front, yeah.
Who looks strangely like Lin-Manuel Miranda now. If you pull that up. No, it's the beard.
In the Don't Ask Me Why video, is Clem in that? I thought I read somewhere that he makes a cameo in that video.
I think he is. Let's look at. I will look at.
Ollie Romo's in it as the drummer. Clem Burke's not in it, is he?
What's the drummer? Ollie was the drummer on the album.
Yeah, Ollie Romo's the drummer, and
Right,
Chip is in it, and Pat Seymour, but Clem Burke's not in that video. No.
It was well, I guess we can talk about it when we get to the single.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the track by track. The album opens with the title track, kind of. Two is spelled TWO and said COO. It's weird how the song starts. It's like a weird and then the song does kind of rock when it gets into it, but it's kind of I felt like it's kind of starting the engine, you're getting it going a little bit. What do you guys think of the song We Two Are One? Jeffrey.
So I've said this on every podcast, and I'm going to say it again. Sometimes Eurythmics suffer from being so great that when they make something not so great, it almost is horrible, but it's not. It's just not on par with some of their real great stuff. And I feel like so much of this album suffers from that.
I agree. That's why I'm going this. Yes.
This song,
I agree with that.
Like you said, totally rocks. Like you said, starts off weird. It's got almost everything, but then it's something's off. And there's also maybe they just knew they were like needing a break or something, and they were just like, I don't know. There's something off. I
This is a
can't.
weird beat. What is it? Kind of a shuffle? Like, what do you call this kind of beat? Because it's not a
It's
common.
a shuffle.
In
But it
1989, a
sounds,
Sort of a
shuffle, like,
shuffle.
it
a-
sounds like 1989 to
Yeah.
me. Like that the lead in is kind of like, to me, it sounds a little like an R&B kind of lead in. Like it would have been horns, but it's some kind of
Well,
synth version
isn't
of
it? And Charlie Wilson's on that track, right?
Yep.
Yes.
It's like they're sitting in with the house band of a talk show.
yeah,
The
Paul
weird,
Schaefer and the late night band.
the weird
Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart.
I've always thought this could have been a single, though. I mean, I think it would have been a better single than Revival.
For sure.
It would have worked better.
I agree.
Whereas
Mike hasn't said anything, and he's grinning, so he needs to say. He hasn't said a word.
Mike, say it. What are you
say
thinking?
it.
Probably a
I'm
Pro
just
Bowl
laughing.
single he's got.
I'm just laughing when you mention Revival. I'm like, oh my God. And
Waiting
I think it was Jeff. Jeff, you said somebody sounds like they're phoning it in. And I was literally thinking to myself yesterday, man, if ever there was a song that was phoned in, that one.
And what's weird about this song is that it's like it is sort of like an upbeat
Love song.
R&B kind of like lead in. There's a lot of build. That's the thing, is like there's a lot of build up around the album, and then there's also build up within the songs. And it's like, but once you hear them, it doesn't match. Like that's the thing, is like you
It
have
just
rhythm.
doesn't get
It's really like upbeat rhythm, but then you have like their like dour.
Yeah. It
They're
doesn't.
Gilbert and
When I
George.
first listened to this album, that's how I felt about the whole album itself. I mean, this was probably my least favorite Eurythmics album until like 20 years later, and I gave it a re-listen, and it's like, oh wow, there's some really good stuff on here. But We Two Are One kind of reminds me a little bit of Sisters. I don't know if anybody else picks up on that,
Yeah.
but it just kind of reminds me of Sisters.
Yeah.
The cadence, I agree on that. Yeah, it's interesting.
I
It'd be
feel like
more
her vocals kind of have a little bit of that parody from like I Need a Man. She's like, come and stand around me, bye when you. Oh, Nick, this is probably the first time you heard this song. We Two Are One. Did it just blow your mind when you put on?
No, it did not.
Hi,
Give us-
Nick.
Give us your thoughts here. Bye.
So- So Dave discussed this in his book. I think he dedicated around a paragraph on it, this 12th chapter, We Two Are One. And he said that it derived from a guitar riff that he created, and Annie sang over it, created a melody over it, and they ended up playing it during their accompanying tour. I find it to be overly stiff. Someone mentioned that there's a shuffle beat. Oftentimes blues benefits from live playing, but the drums here sound very programmed, and I think that really detracts from the overall performance of this song. It does sound a little bit phoned in here to a certain extent, where there's an uncanny valley effect where most of the components are there, but it's just a little off.
Mm.
All right. Any? I know we have more thoughts.
Yeah, I actually a couple of things about this song. I like the concept. I like the whole double entendre, the story. Yeah, I'm into lyrics. I mean, they could have been a little bit better, but I have to say, because it is a good album to re-listen to, because I agree. I like it better now than I did back then.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's better now. And live, oh my gosh, like I couldn't, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about that live album too, but I caught it live on a video. I can't say which one it was, but she's so into it. She's so happy, and and I just, I listened to that song probably like 5 times today. And I actually, the first time I listened to it today, I was like, well, eh. But you know what? As I kept searching other things on YouTube and stuff, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it better live, for sure.
That's not the first time I've heard someone say that about that song. That
Yeah.
live is completely different. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Well,
so
And
Is it the only song that has the groovy as a lyric?
good.
maybe, yeah.
All the groovy things about you,
About
baby.
you, baby.
Baby.
Well,
Baby.
I
I think it's the
interesting.
only time groovy is said.
A bunch of us have already said, at least four of us have said how much better certain songs were live. And I think that goes back to what a lot of you are saying may be the problem with the album. That now they've always been fantastic live. They've always been able to take things, but it's interesting how much every single and We Two Are One just blew it out of the water. I mean, just was wonderful live. And you do kind of wonder if they weren't capturing that in the studio at all. They just something was a little off. And maybe it was Jimmy. Maybe it was that it wasn't the two of them trying to figure out, okay, how do we make this a little more unique? I don't know.
Did they record it in Paris? Where did they record this?
I don't think I know.
It's like actually in New York and Paris. I saw that today on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
I think we've like actually hit the nose on the head. It was Jimmy's fault.
We're all gonna go with that. It was Jimmy's fault.
It was his fault.
It was.
It was Jimmy. It was Jimmy.
Yeah, because that promo video where they do it acoustic, the songs acoustic, those are beautiful.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of songs that were big hits that were shuffled, I feel like by 1989, like that wasn't like you had like Heart in My Heart, which was like early 80s, Knock on Wood, late 70s. But I feel like when I bought the CD a few years later, like
you know what? This album, it's like, to me, it's more them trying to adapt than like innovate. They weren't innovating.
No.
Yeah.
The music they could play, like that wasn't a problem. It's like playing the music. It was just like, they I think it feels more and more to me like now thinking about Arista that they really were trying to kind of like package it.
I agree. I that well said, John. I think that's true. They were first time when they were trying to get into a box.
Yeah.
Well,
100%. Yeah.
Maybe they didn't care about it either. They were just like, okay, we'll do it. See you later.
I feel like Annie was in the studio, like looking at the watch, like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like, look at
Well, they were both starting families, and so maybe they definitely did have a feeling that they were, that was coming.
Well, I think this album, it's time to pull it out, time to whip it out, you guys. The thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down.
The song or the album?
The song. We'll do the rating of the album at the end. The song, We Two Are One.
I like the song.
Part one.
I like the song. It's just not.
Oh, live, I would definitely do thumbs up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'll do Love as a Stranger.
1 thumbs up for the studio version, 2 thumbs up for live.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, David. That's perfect.
All right.
All right. Well, we are moving on. I feel like there's little dashes of Americana references around that. We have Elvis Presley coming on later in the lyrics. The King and Queen of America. The King and Queen of America. Another, like, just a little autopilot. I don't like the horns in the chorus. I thought the video was kind of annoying. I'm sorry if I'm making enemies here, but I just was never a big fan of this song.
You didn't like the video?
No.
The video was great.
The video is great.
Video was funny.
I can't get past the song.
Oh, and I like the horns. They got a lot of horns on this album. I like that about it, actually.
Did you ever hear the dance remix and the like dub version?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were. I was listening to it today.
There's the CD.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Okay.
And was they were using. I mean, it was '89, so like techno was starting to kind of come. Techno and house were really in it. I mean, in England it was already a thing, but like in the U.S. it was kind of merging with what we were listening to at the clubs. And the dance mix, I mean, it uses a very like common sample, but it's almost like works to me.
It almost seemed to me on this one that I don't know that it was the best choice for a single, and it almost seemed like they had an idea like this. What a great video we can do with this, and it may have been better if they'd done like Savage and and had a video album, because the video's hilarious. The video's great. I like the song.
You know what? I'm remembering more of the video. You're right. The video's good.
The video was so clever, and
Yeah.
I remember, what's ironic is both of them have made their home in America.
You see, if I ran Arista Records, what they should have done is
Arista, yeah.
Arista, they should have marketed the remix to the gay clubs and called it the Queen and Queen of America.
They were, I mean,
that would have been the hit.
they were probably
This song gets me going. I like it.
and
Yeah.
you're right.
I love I love the horns in the beginning. It's great.
Jeremy,
Probably
can I
have
just
a reaction to Los Angeles.
can I
I
just
saw
jump
it in Los Angeles. Yeah,
Jeremy?
the tour. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
Jeremy, if you were running Arista, you said you would have promoted the hell out of this song, right?
I would have done the remix to the gay clubs, the Queen and Queen of
Oh,
America.
okay.
Well, I will tell you, I was working in a record store in 1989, and I had this a customer who kept coming in wanting the single for the King and Queen of America because it was being played on MTV. MTV played the King and Queen of America and Don't Ask Me Why at the same time. They were both released as videos at the same time. And the VJ with the long blonde hair, I don't remember his name. I remember
Adam Curry.
Maybe.
Alan Hunter.
Alan Hunter.
Okay, yeah. And anyway,
Mark Goodman.
No, he was brunette.
I don't know. But anyway, the point is,
Martha Quinn.
he played both videos, and he said,
The black
King and Queen of America is the better
The Black-
video, but Don't Ask Me Why is the better song. But they played.
Oh, video too.
Both great videos.
Oh yeah. So and so anyway, I had this customer, and he kept coming in, and he wanted the single. I'm like, there's no single for it. You want to buy Don't Ask Me Why? And but no, he wanted that, and he asked for probably 2 months, and I kept saying, you want to just buy the album?
Right?
Trying to sell you something here, but he wouldn't. He wanted a cassette single. Oh my God.
Well, in terms of promotional material, the King and Queen of America got absolutely saturated with cool collectible stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it was everywhere.
Are you going to show us some?
If you don't mind.
Yes, please do.
Please. I like that song.
Because
Okay,
we're the
so-
part-time winners and the all-time losers.
Oh,
league.
what a great line.
That is a good
There you
line.
go.
Yeah.
So, John, as John was talking about, that's the dance remix, right?
Okay.
So that was pretty standard. And then there's the standard 12-inch single that we've all seen 1,000 times.
Okay.
And this one came with a promo sheet promoting We Two Are One and the wooden box CD single, King and Queen of America.
So I need a king and queen in a box.
It was issued again in Brazil in a unique sleeve.
Yeah, got that one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I
That
like
is great.
that.
Elvis and Marilyn. That's really
I
cool.
love that.
That is
And then
great.
the
I need
CD
that.
single. Yeah, it's gorgeous. There's the standard CD single.
hmm
Then there was the Japan CD single. And then there's the cigar box, which we've all seen, right? With the
Yeah,
CD.
I think I have that.
And they came out with 2 of those, one without the clasp and one
That's right.
which was
Yeah.
bizarre. How they ever issued it without a clasp was how did you keep the CD in it?
Well, this has got it. And then there's this great big calendar that was promoted.
I feel the one without the class, didn't the piece of wood slide into it like it was kind of in a groove?
Great.
The calendar
that-
was with the fan club, wasn't it?
I think the fan club issued that. It
Yeah.
came in 2 parts.
2 parts, yeah.
Yeah. There's that and that, 1991.
Yeah.
Were they still promoting it in 91? It came
Yeah,
out.
it says 1991.
They were pushing it for 2 years.
Well, that would have been late 2000 or not 2000, late 90
Yeah.
when that calendar came out, probably like
Right.
October.
And then then there's this really cool thing. The King and Queen of America playing cards.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Mhm.
So it's got Dave there
Oh,
and
that's cool.
there.
Yeah.
I think the
Oh,
fan club issued that as well, right?
Do you have the if they did, I don't I was thinking it might have been a promo for like radio stations. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So do you
It says
president?
RCA.
Oh
Do you
God,
have,
that's great.
do you have
Yeah.
the presidential sleeve?
You have the president.
Yes, sir. Then we have
See it.
the 7-inch single. Yay, we've all seen that 1,000 times. And then there's this holy grail, the presidential sleeve, which was withdrawn. And I don't know much about it. And I remember you talking to Lawrence Stevens about this, Mark. He doesn't know anything about it either, right?
And the everything about it. I believe, if I'm remembering right, he thinks it came from America.
Yeah, I believe that. But it's got what I assume at the time is Ronald Reagan and Nancy on the sleeve, right?
Yes.
I think it's
That's
no,
why they
I
pulled
think it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to be George Bush and Barbara Bush closer.
Oh,
Oh, right.
And the very first video for the King and Queen of America, which we saw at the Pantages, they had big
Yes.
screens outside. And there are some videos you can see this when Dave touches his button and
Yeah.
some
He
building blows.
pushes his hand on the button.
oh,
And well, he touches his button on his lapel.
That's right.
And
That's right.
there are videos where it says, "Let George do it."
Right.
So like,
And
I thought it was the Reagan.
George, I'm sorry, I
Interesting.
probably said George W. Bush. I didn't mean that. The father, George Bush, and Barbara Bush.
Right.
But I think in essence, it's supposed to represent a president and the first lady. How specific they are, I'm not sure.
I always thought it alluded to them pushing the nuclear button and blowing up everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I figured this was probably too controversial, so it was withdrawn. That's what
That
I
was UK. They didn't put it
Interesting.
out. for us.
It's still appropriate now in a way.
Yeah.
everything is everything's so fucked up right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yep. You're
Just
in
saying.
New Zealand. We're in America. It's hard.
Come to New Zealand. Come to New Zealand.
I think it would have been a tough sell for radio here, but
Yeah.
but then again, I think some people liked it. The video got a lot of play.
Video was really clever.
Oh, cassette single, yeah. And
I mean,
do
it was everywhere. Promotion was everywhere for this song. And it's a very mediocre song.
I do have to say, Mike, it's
think it's one of the-
probably one of the worst subway posters.
Oh, yeah. The subway poster is just the eagle, isn't it?
And,
Bald eagle.
and I'm like, you have all these images of Dave and Annie, and you didn't put it on a 40 by 60. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
You
You
see,
have
I was
the
glued.
Elvis in Maryland,
Yeah,
at the very least.
I was
All right.
glued to MTV at the time, and I don't ever remember seeing these videos until the VHS came out later.
Oh, it was huge on MTV.
Did you guys ever? Did
Absolutely.
anyone else ever see it on MTV?
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Probably once or twice. I don't know.
Arista was pushing this big, and so was
Once or
MTV.
twice every few hours.
Yeah.
promotion was huge.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I remember that much.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why.
There was a lot of television about it because I have those tapes, but they did a lot of talk show.
Oh yeah, yeah. John's right. I mean, they had more live appearances for this album than any other album.
Yeah.
Any other album in the U.S. But so well,
All right.
How-
Well,
baby's gonna cry.
King and Queen of America. Thumbs up. Side. Nick, what did you think of this song?
Oh,
So yeah, this is one of the few songs I actually was familiar with going into it, and it's one of my favorites on the album. Obviously,
Woohoo!
yeah, woohoo. Obviously, the lyrics here are very topical now. Unfortunately, they relate to the cults of personality that are very prevalent in the United States and
Certainly.
other countries too. And Annie mentioned that in an interview with the Chicago Tribune around the time that the song was released. It makes sense that the music video received airplay.
Right.
I just watched it and it's rather amusing. Lots of things going on. And I think the song behind it too is wonderful too. It was a modest hit in Europe too. I'm curious as to why they didn't release it in the United States, or at least as a promo single. It probably would have received modest airplay. It has all the components you would want for a single. Missed opportunity.
All right. Well, thumbs up, sideways, or down. King and Queen of America.
Thumbs up.
You know what's so funny? I'm like, I don't like this song, but I'm like, I give it thumbs up. I actually, now that we talk about it, Jeffrey always makes fun of me how I'll just end up liking everything.
No, I feel you on that.
It's a good song. All right. Well, moving forward, I was sitting on my grandma's couch, and I was just glued to MTV and pop culture at 14 years old. I would have been 14 when this came out. And the Eurythmics were on a talk show or something with their new single, and it was the next song's My Baby's Gonna Cry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember them playing the song and just thinking like, this is the most uninspired thing I've ever seen. Like, you used to be so good, baby, you're so bad. And then the chorus like, my baby's gonna cry tonight.
Oh
Yeah.
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 So I totally checked out of Eurythmics for like, and it took Diva to get me back, baby, because I was like, I didn't even buy this album. Like that, I can't even have that in my.
You were watching a live performance of this?
Yeah, it definitely was live.
It would have been the Arsenio Hall show. Or
Okay,
it could have been Saturday Night Live. That's the
Oh,
only
gosh.
thing. But both of those live performances are stellar. And Charlie Wilson's with them on the Arsenio Hall show, and he bowed down to them at the end.
Mark, I'm sorry.
This song on the album.
I just watched SNL with this, and
Yeah.
it was great.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Cry 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 live
Yeah,
version?
the end.
Oh, yeah, I love you, but it's bad. It's bad. I'm sorry.
God, no, not the live version.
I know there's things that I call stellar in life, like Good Sex,
They did release
the
this.
Touch album, any version of My Baby's Gonna Cry. I don't think I could.
Yeah, John was going to say something.
Yeah, this was released as a single.
Mark, let me be the host now.
Yeah.
Promo only.
Actually, the
I
dance
have a
version
fun-
of that song's really good too. The dance version is quite catchy. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
this is a historical thing. This is the only time they released a single in the U.S. that was not released anywhere else.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
really?
Yeah.
Well, North America was released in Canada as well.
Well, yeah. A North American release. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Jerry. I just thought I interrupted John.
We do. I think we do need to be careful not to talk over each other a little bit because it is a little. We are stepping on each other a little bit. So let's make sure to let the air breathe a little bit. But we're all excited to talk about the album. That's for sure. On the Joni Mitchell ones, I make people put their hands up and I call on them. But we don't have to do that here. Okay, Lynn.
So in the revival tour, this live was absolutely amazing.
Mm.
And it was different than the Arsenio Hall and the SNL one, which I saw both of those. But you can find the YouTube one of them. I'm not saying that this is their best song ever, please, but it was really good live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first song Dave sang on. I mean, as a, two-part person. Two-part person.
Yeah, it's like a duet. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right.
You could be so bad, but you could be so good, but you had to be so bad.
See, my version, the song could be so bad. It really should have been good.
You could make me happy, baby, when you made me sad.
Okay. Nick, have you ever heard my baby's gonna cry before?
Not until my first listen of the album about 1 or 2 weeks ago, and yeah, Dave definitely phoned this in as well. But the lyrics are like really atrocious, just very stiff and stilted, as is his delivery. I was looking through some publications on the Ultimate Eurythmics archives, and I found this one from Goldmine, and they were reviewing the album, and they have a sentence saying, elsewhere, Stewart took his first lead vocal on My Baby's Gonna Cry, suggesting a new role for him in future recordings, and we know how that turned out. There's only one future album afterwards, and obviously they broke up 10 years, or for 10 years, I should say. And it's kind of conceivable as to why he didn't take more lead vocals. I mean, he's fine and serviceable, but when you have Annie, there's really no need to do vocals because she's more than sufficient in that capacity.
But he did eventually take lead vocals in a solo career.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I haven't listened to that yet.
And the worst Dave Stewart vocal ever, his duet with Stevie Nicks, Cheaper Than Free.
I like that song.
Yeah.
Jim, your hands up.
Yeah, I was going to say that, first of all, I didn't know there was a dance mix of this song, so I will be doing lots of searching unless somebody wants to post it in the chat. But I was looking at the single cover, and it's a picture of Dave on the single. And Annie may be on there, but she's like distorted in the background. So
no, it's the two images.
Yeah,
is it
melded together? It's
okay.
It's a teardrop, and it's the image.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really cool. It's a cool video. Single sleeve. Yeah.
All right, John.
I'm just gonna say it now and get it over with. T-R-I-T, trite.
Oh, John, you never say anything bad about a rhythmic song. Is this what you
Did you say, John?
A little bit. I mean, come on, like it's trite. That's why I say like it's of the era. It's like it's catered. They packaged it for 19.
Do you know what I think this was? I think they're trying to capitalize on the rock set market with this song. Because I am not a rock set fan. I thought their songs were so limp. Like, let's go on a joy.
Yeah. And also trying to take it into I mean, you can kind of see the direction as far as like a little bit more kind of a groove, like R&B soul sound it was trying to kind of evoke. Because that's, that was big in 89 on the chart, for sure.
All right. Anyone else care to comment on?
I think it's a good song. I still enjoy the song. I do enjoy it. I like it. But like the rest of you, we'll just blame Jimmy. Yeah.
We're gonna blame. It's everything Jimmy's fault. It's all Jimmy's fault.
Did Annie and him date at one time?
Oh, I never heard that.
What?
I heard that Jimmy and Annie dated for a brief.
I never heard that.
I know Stevie did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google.
Oh, Stevie Nicks did, yeah.
Ooh, this is how the gossip starts on Phonogenics 101. All right. My baby's gonna cry. Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down? I can't do it. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm not mad at it, and I can't wait to hear the dance version now.
Lynn,
the video's good.
Lynn, I feel like we drove you crazy on the last album because we were like, oh, this song, what did we say? What was the word? People kept saying filler. But I would give anything for that savage filler over My Baby's Gonna Cry. That's right.
I'm never gonna call any Eurythmics song ever.
Don't you be making fun of Heaven now.
I like Heaven. That's right. All right. Moving forward, Annie Lennox would have a huge breakthrough with her solo career 3 years later with a song called Why. But before Why, there was Don't Ask Me Why. You know what I noticed about this song, listening to it? I haven't listened to this album in a long time. That bass line's pretty groovy. Like, that's very, like, it's a nice bed that this song is built on. I liked this song more than I remembered liking it when I listened to it. Jeffrey, then Mark.
It really feels like they must have almost planned they were breaking up, because it's like, I don't love you anymore and don't ask me why. Like, it's run its course. We've been through a lot. Fuck off. Let me do my thing and don't ask.
All right, Mark.
Well, this is one of my favorite Eurythmics songs ever.
Okay.
Top 10, maybe top 5. I can listen to this any day of the week. An exceptional song. And I was asking, some of you all would know him, Clem Stombaugh. I was trying to get him to come on the podcast, but he couldn't. And anything you want to say? And he said, Don't Ask Me Why is the finest 4 minutes on that album, as well as its B-side, which is Rich Girl, which is a groovy little song. But he said, Don't Ask Me Why is a cauldron of lost love and anger. And I will say this. I think that Saturday Night Live, they performed Angel and Baby's Gonna Cry. And Don't Ask Me Why got to 40 on the top 100. And by the time they got here with the tour and got on Saturday Night Live, the single was dropping. So they didn't perform Don't Ask Me Why. And I absolutely, positively believe this. Had they got here and the single was still going up, and they had performed Don't Ask Me Why live on Saturday Night Live, the entire fortunes of Don't Ask Me Why and We Two Are One would have been totally different, because that song live is incredible. That's the conclusion of that, everything about it. And I think people would have been talking about it the next day, just like they were talking about Why about 3 years later, the next day after she performed it on Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
So I think they missed, that was a missed opportunity, because Angel wasn't great performed live that night. It wasn't something that was going to grab you. But Don't Ask Me Why would have changed the direction of that album in America. I'm convinced of that.
I do feel that bass line, the production is very contemporary to 1989. I could have definitely seen this be a hit.
Yes.
Lynn, did you have your hand up, and then John?
I did.
Okay, go ahead, Lynn.
Me?
Oh, I thought you had your hand up. I'm sorry.
I did.
Oh yeah, yep, you're up.
So, like Mark, I think we two are, Don't Ask Me Why is brilliant. And live, it's brilliant. And the video is brilliant. And it's interesting to note, because I saw, and we'll talk about this next month, I saw the Peace Tour 6 times.
Oh.
Yeah. And so one of the things Dave said, well, every song Annie wrote in Diva was about me. And you think about that, and it might be true. So this was Don't Ask Me Why. Why? And then on Dave's album, he has a song called Tragedy Street, which is why are you always on Tragedy Street? So it's interesting to note that there was some kind of going on at that point.
Move over, Lindsay and Stevie.
Well, yeah, they wrote the book on it. Annie and Dave read it, obviously. But I loved I keep saying We Two Are One. I love Don't Ask Me Why, and the video was so beautiful.
Yeah,
so beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
It was David Lynch like.
Yeah, very much Blue Velvet. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you guys think it's fair to say that this song does live up to the legacy of Eurythmics?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Jeremy, I have to go.
Oh no! Do you have any more collectibles you want to show before you go, or anything?
No, I'm good. Just want to say thank you very much for a fantastic time, and to everybody. It's been wonderful meeting you all. And yeah,
Mike, are you coming back for Peace?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Next month.
It's not forever.
Don't say goodbye.
Okay. Bye for now then.
Bye. Oh, bye, Mike.
See you next month.
Thank
Glad we
you.
got to see
Bye.
you. All right. Anyone else want to jump in? Oh, David.
I got to echo Mark and Lynn, because it gives me everything that I love about the Eurythmics. It's a story. It's heartbreaking. The lyrics are good. Her vocals, when she does that, I don't love you anymore over and over again. You know what? It's just like, I don't know. I can relate to the song big time. It's about like somebody who just, they didn't listen. You tried so hard, and they never listened. So don't ask me now.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of the sad and cynical about love follow-up, the natural follow-up from Here Comes the Rain Again, which was joyous about love in the chorus. And I think there are elements of that, the strings and the chorus. I mean, Dave's guitar, the bridge, his guitar in the bridge. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I like it better than Why.
Oh, I do too. I absolutely
do too.
You guys are crazy on that one.
No.
Sorry.
I said you guys are crazy, and Why is one of the top best
Why
songs of
is
all
an
time.
excellent song, but
That's like saying Bron Your Stomp is as good as Stairway to Heaven.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm just being stupid.
It's a good song.
Your intro to this song was great, Jeremy. It was a great intro to the song.
Two sides.
This song is like where her exasperated vocals work.
Yeah.
Because it's the theme of the song is kind of this, dissipation and distancing. So her like, to me, her vocals are, I mean, they're great, but it is like her sounding kind of
Right.
like over it.
I know this is 2 months from now, but why is one of those songs the first time I heard it, like I just fucking fell off the chair or whatever. Like that became that year of my life. Like that, and those songs for me don't come along very often like that. So I like Don't Ask Me Why, but I just definitely wouldn't. But music's
I
subjective.
like why too. It's not that I'm being facetious, but
Oh
I
yeah,
do like why, but I do like Don't Ask Me Why.
yeah.
And it doesn't get performed live. It didn't get performed on the Peace tour, and they don't they just don't talk about this album. And if you look at the I don't know if it's the Laserdisc or the DV or the VHS or the DVD, there's a mistake on it because she performs live on the Peace tour, and on the live album that for Peace Tour Live, it says it's going to be Don't Ask Me Why. There's somewhere on it where you can click on extra things or something, and it says Don't Ask Me Why. So I don't know if that's a mistake of whoever put it together, or if they initially were going to perform it.
Oh,
They changed their mind and said, well, no, let's do Annie's hit Why instead. And I also have this weird kind of feeling that a lot of diva are leftover things that she wanted to say and do on We Two Are One that didn't finish. Don't Ask Me Why. Clearly, she takes that same concept and brings it into a whole other meaning in her Why. And just the use of my, and that she uses again on Little Bird.
yeah.
And they've got a B-side called Precious on We Two Are One.
I didn't get to that one.
Do what?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, and of course she's got a song, of course, on Diva called Precious. So it almost sometimes seems to me like she had things she wanted to do on We Two Are One that she didn't quite finish, or she had them still just in the back of her mind. I don't know if there's any concept of that at all, but I just see similarities sometimes that maybe she finished later on. I don't know.
All right, Nick, I'm
Maybe
saving
Jimmy didn't touch this one.
Yeah, that's why it's good.
That's hilarious. That's good.
Nick, I'm saving you for last. Lynn.
So it's interesting because as I said, I saw Peace a number of times in different continents and everything.
Wow.
And it was interesting to see Dave play on Why.
Mm-hmm.
He played that. And then I would say in the trilogy of the Why songs, if you ever listen to, Dave has a Tragedy Street. It's the whole trilogy of the Whys.
Yeah. But I don't think she's ever, even when they didn't speak for several years, I don't think it was He Doesn't Love Me. I think they loved each other. They couldn't be in the same room with each other again.
Well,
So I don't think that line is about Dave Stewart. I don't. And she would say this. There are elements to songs that it may have started like, but I don't think it's autobiography about them. I don't.
I don't either. I don't either.
Well, Nick, what did you think of this song?
So this was the other song on the album I knew going into it, and I will echo your sentiments in terms of Why being my favorite over Don't Ask Me Why, but that doesn't detract at all really from the merits of this song, because I would put it up in the echelon of all their biggest hits in terms of the longevity, the staying power, the quality. It's a super memorable and catchy song that I really very much enjoy, actually. And well, Flute, you mentioned that we start with Don't Ask Me Why and then Why. Fleetwood Mac did something very similar with Hold Me in 1982 off the Mirage album, and then Christy McVie did Got a Hold on Me for her 1984 single, which both were top 10 hits. And I also love their song Why off their Mystery to Me album.
Yeah.
It's usually a good sign if you title your songs Why based on that very small sample size.
We
All
should
right.
know this song, Don't Ask Me What, got to #1 in Canada on the adult contemporary chart.
Oh,
Yeah. Isn't that cool? So that's one of their #1s. You
Cool.
gotta take it where you can get it.
Yeah, you
And they
sure
have
do.
those CanCon rules too.
All right. Do we have any other thoughts on Don't Ask Me Why? Did I miss anybody? Is it a unanimous thumbs up from the panel?
thumbs up.
And that great picture sleeve. I mean, her in that dress.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's worth the price of admission right there.
Right.
Well, podcasters, I believe in you. I believe in you as we go into talking about Angel. Not to be confused with I've Got an Angel from one of their previous albums. I'm
Precious.
Or There Must Be an Angel.
yeah, there must be an angel that yeah, that's
Oh
right.
yeah, there's a lot of angels
A
with
lot of
them.
angel. There must playing with my heart. This song, this is my opinion on this song. I think the verses are beautiful. I feel like the chorus is like schlock 80s. Like Angel, like who would be a band like that? Like Aerosmith. The Aerosmith had a song called Angel too. But the verses are so pretty. Like the melody and Elvis Presley on the radio. What's the thoughts of Angel from the Jeffrey? Let you have start this one.
I think it's supposedly about her dead deceased baby.
No, aunt.
Oh,
Oh, really? I thought it was about the baby.
Well,
Because if you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh my God, this song is like
yeah, probably. But she says
Heartbreaking.
aunt, but maybe she meant baby. Yeah.
Mhm.
What?
I think it's supposed to be, the loss of someone or the loss of, yeah.
Great guitar solo by Dave. And
Yeah.
the end.
Oh, fantastic.
There were 2 versions of the video. There's a one called the Fire version, which I believe they had to the Fire version's like what they wanted. The MTV version is what they got, was what MTV aired. They didn't want Fire. They
Interesting.
thought it was too.
Yeah.
So,
insane.
I mean, that was such an amazing video because I guess also it was the Ouija board. They didn't like that it was sort of black magic Ouija board because they're doing that on MTV.
And then you have
he was
like,
saving her from the fire.
they were
I mean,
from the US.
the US.
I've heard this over the years, and I've always been amazed by this, that somehow the video that they were squeamish, that MTV and people were squeamish about this video. For heaven's sake, we had movies, Friday the 13th and all of these things, and a Ouija board. It's not like, I mean, it was the strangest. And I never heard that back in the day. I've only heard this in years since. And I can never make any sense if it's true, if this is some sort of wild thing that got started. But I have seen, John is right, I have seen the version of the video without the flames. It's just ridiculous. I mean, with
running through the hall.
Fire version. So, I mean, this is 89, and it's also like, you're not that, it's only a couple of years after the PMRC. Parents.
Yeah.
What?
I get the Ouija board thing though, like it offending people because of the movie The Exorcist. That left a scar on me for Ouija boards. Because that's like how Captain Howdy, or whatever. That's how the beginning of how you saw the demon was going to get her in that movie and the book. Like I read the book too, so I kind of get. Like America being okay, no.
Really?
Yeah.
15 years prior. That was like 1973.
I know, but unfortunately, my parents took me to see it and I was traumatized. It was like, I get it,
See, I think it's weird because I feel like the metal bands, like Motley Crue, definitely had like the pentagram.
Yes, exactly. And
Madonna had the burning crosses and like
during the 80s, and no one said anything about that. And that was a really scary movie.
we had Tawny Katane in Witchboard.
Yeah, I mean, she's just at a table giving readings. I mean, or whatever it's supposed to depict, but that it would have offended anyone. And I saw it on VH1, so they did show it.
Yeah,
So
I saw
still
it too.
confused by it all. But and there's a nice I think it's called the choir version that they recorded a sort of
Yeah,
a live version with the harmonium or with a choir in the church, not the harmonium. But I think again, I'm not sure. I don't think it was probably the best choice for a single. And I kind of go back to again with the King and Queen of America. Great video, great concept for the video. So you could again sing, and they did have a video album, not for every song, but so they did have a video album. But you could almost again see like they had this concept, like we could do a really good video with that. And maybe it was sort of the process of, and again, this was just what 4 years after There Must Be an Angel. I'm not sure going back into that was.
But
and she talked about.
Oh, sorry, Mark.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
Apparently, they thought it was the single because they sang it twice as that opening at the Pantages.
Right.
So they did think it was the single. They sang it in the beginning and in the end. Maybe it was why they swept up the glass that fell off the table.
Yeah.
I did sing it twice, and I've never been at anything where somebody sang a song twice.
That they weren't recording it. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, one other time.
All right, Jim, your hand is up.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with Mark totally. I mean,
Uh-oh.
this is
Oh,
one of my three favorite songs. One of my top favorite songs by the Eurythmics. On that album, it's one of my three favorite songs, and it's just the story behind it, and bringing in, Elvis singing, songs on Sunday and singing live in Las Vegas, and there's such a story there. And then and as she, was what's the line about her, is sleeping forever? I mean, is she talking about suicide? Is she talking, it's a very complex song, and
It's
the
mysterious.
choir is very mysterious, and the choir version I think is better than the album version. I wish that they had intertwined elements of both. I mean, I think hearing that choir, the church choir in the background at the end of the studio version would have really pushed that over the edge as far as popularity is concerned. I'm going to have to disagree. There's not very few songs in this album that I'm going to give 2 thumbs up to, but this is one of them.
Okay.
I don't mean that I dislike the song. I just wondered if it was a good choice for a single. I just don't think it was something that radio was going to get into. But the lyrics, the Elvis Presley juxtaposition of those two, I mean, that's stunning. It's like like Jeremy was saying. I mean, you've got some so great lyrics, and I love the song performance wise, but I just don't know if it was a great choice for a single. It was their worst performing single on the album by far.
That's so pretty, John.
It was worth it for this cover, though.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Nick, have you ever heard this song before this podcast?
No, this is my first time hearing it, and on the initial listen, other than the 2 songs I was familiar with, none of the songs really did it for me. But upon the second listen, this one connected with me almost immediately, actually. I found that the chorus in particular, you mentioned that it's a little bit sappy, but a chorus should generally be a kind of an arrival. The verse is the journey, the chorus is the destination. And I find that the chorus is incredibly impactful with its smallest sound. The story behind it's great too. I looked into it afterwards, and there are a couple of interpretations. I won't pick one because I don't want to make that the definitive version. And looking at its chart performance, it nestled pretty comfortably in the top 30 in both UK and Ireland. So it's not as if it completely flopped. There was a market for it in some capacity, whether or not it was through airplay or sales. So you did have people still connect with it, and I was one of those people, but just not back then because I'm too young.
How old are you, Nick?
I am 27.
Shit.
Lord.
Damn.
Why is he on this podcast?
Yeah, kick me out.
No.
No. You add tons of color to this.
Yes,
Right.
I agree.
So is that an alternate cover there, John?
So this is a double A side. This is Angel on the A side.
Wow, look at that.
Double A side is the Nightmare mix of Sweet Dreams,
Oh.
Yeah.
which is
Holy moly.
Angel.
And the artist for the Sweet Dreams remix is named Angel. Am I correct, John?
Dave Angel, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Originally, he did that mix as it was a white label bootleg.
Right.
500 copies of, and then he got permission, from Dave and RCA. But apparently, like, the interesting story about this mix is, besides the fact that it's a really great remix, is Dave couldn't find the master tapes for Sweet Dreams, apparently, to like get him to do the mix. So he recorded it. Essentially, he recorded it from like the record, so he was like basically mixing it live.
Wow.
Is this the CD single? Is that the same remix?
That's the greatest.
That's a different.
Greatest hits album because it has the Nightmare mix and stuff. But they put it out here officially first, and then they issued it again on the Sweet Dreams 91 remix.
Okay.
Yeah, single. But,
And it quotes Edgar Allan Poe, uses words from Edgar Allan Poe in it too.
there's a great
Can't
sample.
go wrong.
There's a sample from a Wes Craven movie in it too. The beginning.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on Angel before we get to side 2 of the album? The more we talk about this song, let's from like, you know what? I even like the chorus. I gave it 2 fucking thumbs up. Angel.
Oh yeah.
I think the choir version's this version too.
Yeah.
I've only gotten like 2 hours of sleep in the last like 2 days. So if I'm forgetting anybody or I'm bitchy at all, give me grace. Just like we're giving.
We always give you grace, Jeremy.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes I finish a podcast, I'm like, God, I was awful and everyone hates me. So
I've never thought that once.
Oh, well, thank you.
Either.
I hope not.
And my mom loves you too, Jeremy.
Oh, I love your mom. Well,
she
thank you
actually
guys.
likes everybody on this podcast. She watches, and she actually was like, "Oh, you better speak up today."
Oh, that's right.
So that's why I'm a little extra chatty. I'm doing it for mom.
Shout out to mom. Yeah.
Say hi to mom. Her name's Margaret. Hi, Margaret.
Hey,
Hi,
Margaret. You're an
My
angel
grandmother's
yourself.
name.
Well, let's just skip right to Revival. Thumbs up or thumbs down, you guys? No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about the song. Dun, 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 dun.
This is a
Dun,
WTF moment.
I can't believe it was a single.
I mean,
I didn't like
in the
Charlie
UK?
Wilson. I would say the inclusion of him, I didn't like that.
I feel like a song that's that lifeless being called Revival is Alanis Morissette. You should have used that in Ironic instead of looking for a fork and spoon or whatever.
This is the worst video. Hands down, the worst video.
I've never seen the video. What happens in the video?
You've never seen the video? Oh my goodness.
It'll just like
Dancing around.
already think about the song. I mean, I appreciate that they were tongue in cheek about it, but it definitely tried to fit the mold of an 1990 pop music video.
Mark.
I think it's I think it's another the video is another thing that I believe they probably had in their mind something that did not translate at all. At the very end, the most interesting thing is at the end, there's a giant hand kind of painting the wall. So you kind of get this sense of like, was it supposed to be some surrealistic painting or something? I will say again, someone a minute ago said how great the Baby's Gonna Cry remix is. The remix to Revival really saves this song. It's a really great remix. And the first time I heard it was in a couple of days before the Pantages. And the cover of that you're holding up that's a great artwork. But we heard it they were playing the remix on K-Rock in LA. And so, you know, K Rock was giving it a lot of love because it was the single in England at the time. I don't, and again, I think the live version I love the live version. It's so much fun. The audience is into it. When she spells out Rivival, it's just fantastic. Jonice is great.
It is good live. I agree.
But isn't that weird? We've said that all night, and a bunch of us have agreed to that. And so, and they were always great live. They always were. But it's so strange that every song is enhanced somehow from the live performances. I think what we have to say, Jimmy's fault. It was Jimmy.
John.
To say lyrically, I'm like thinking about it more from a lyrical standpoint that they weren't really saying a whole lot new on this album. And so we've heard the stories about downtrodden, like Girl Goes to London, Sylvia, Rich Girl, The Walk, honestly, is the same. Thematically, it's the same thing. So it's sort of like, that's where I kind of feel like they were running out of steam, and she was pulling from whatever resources she already knew, which is like the same story she's told before, just much better previously. You know, there. What's the other one? There's Precious. No, Rich.
Yeah, Precious and Rich Girl were the B-sides. Yeah.
And then what B-side was? I was just listening to it today. It was like See No Evil.
Oh yeah, King and Queen of America B-side. Yeah.
No Evil.
Yeah. See No Evil.
A little trite too, personally.
No, that's terrible. I don't like that one at all.
I love the dub thing about it. Like yeah. And so that's why I think like even Revival, like the lyrics of it, like Mona Lisa, and she was kind of repeating herself in a way.
I wonder why it was the choice for a single. And, you know, they did name the tour the Revival Tour. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, because the tour was, you know, and so it was to help connect them, you know, so it could have easily been the We Two Are One tour. That would have easily worked.
It's a pop single. Like it's the closest album, I think, to like a very, you know, it's uplifting. So, but it's a little vacuous.
See, I just had my next executive, what is it? Arista Records. It should have been called We Tour Are One.
Oh, okay.
That would have been clever.
That's great.
I get it.
I like it.
Oh. Well, any other thoughts on Revival?
Have other people heard the remix?
No, I'm definitely. Please drop it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm totally going to trust you, Mark, and I'm going to seek it out, because I in that one of those promo videos, the one that says Eurythmics We Two Are One promo video, I'm certain it's the music, and it's a really long part of the music of Revival in that one, and it sounds really good. The music.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to see whatever the video is you're talking about. But anyway, I'll try to find it, stick it in there.
Am I right in saying that this is the one song that never appeared on any of their video compilations later on?
Yes. Right. I think you're right on that. I don't think it ever did.
Nope.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, something.
I guess that Revival, thumbs up, thumbs down Revival.
I'll weigh in briefly too.
Oh,
that's Nick. Nick, what did you think of this
one?
one?
Nick.
Yeah. So this song, lyrics aren't great. I'm not fond of songs that spell out the title of the song. I mean, Fergie's Glamorous might be one exception.
Okay.
But this song, it kind of reminds me of King of Rock and Roll by Prefab Sprout almost, although I prefer that song far more than this one. It's still a fun atmosphere. I can't get too upset over it. It's average.
I'm giving it a sideways.
Same.
Lynn, I love yours. What
did she do?
I have to figure it out. You know, this is the first time, and we might note that I have ever done that.
Yeah, it is. Shit.
because I am the glass half full gal.
Aw.
I do like a history of bitterness. You have left a blazing trail. I do like that line.
That's a good line.
But isn't that from that's from you hurt me and I hate you.
Yeah, not that one.
Never mind.
They're still
Well,
Bound from Revival.
speaking of
Line.
That was
moving forward, how's that for a song title? You hurt me and I hate you.
Great title.
You
So I was looking at
hurt
that
me.
one. I like that line.
Oh God, that's my favorite line in there. Absolutely. And if you'd been a hammer, I'd be a broken nail.
Oh God, yeah. Woo.
Sorry,
Oh,
Jeremy. Sorry.
wow.
No, don't be. You guys are fine. For every good line in the song, though, there's some stinkers, aren't there?
No,
No, yeah.
Thank you,
Not in
Dean.
this one.
not in this one.
I had to look because I remember like. Does anyone care to talk about the song while I look this up?
Sure, I will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do.
Okay, so I don't know, Mark. You're gonna have a hard time because you did just convince me that I need to maybe re-rate the last song for the dance mix,
Okay.
but this one's gonna be a tough one unless you could come up with some different versions or whatever. This song is
No, I don't.
All right.
I've said I'm not gonna say anything more about this song. I don't like it.
I am gonna say something.
This
I'm
is
not a savior. I'm not a saint. I'm not an angel. I'm not that quaint.
I love that line.
Okay,
I just feel like that. Like, get out that thesaurus, girl. Get out
you
that
guys are
rhyme.
gonna get me with the lyrics. Now I'm gonna have to get into the lyrics.
I love the ones that you guys did point out.
This is the one song on the album when it came on last night. I played it the record, the remaster record, and I was like, I can't even remember this song. Like it doesn't click for me in the it's like in the order of songs on the album. Like I don't know that it's coming next.
Hmm.
I
It would
agree.
have been a great B-side.
Jim, was your hand up?
I was just going to say I agree with John. I'm still like right now trying to think how does this song go in my head, and I've been listening to the album, so I agree. It just didn't do anything.
Jimmy produced it probably.
I feel like
Day-
side
the day
two.
Yes.
All the Eurythmics albums, the later ones in the 80s, had that song on side two, though. To me, it was like Take Your Pain Away, then Put the Blame on Me, and then You Hurt Me. They're all like the second song on side two that just kind of, I don't know.
Do it.
And I think it was John I don't know who's been talking about where kind of that late 80s sound.
Hmm.
And I will say that this was a song that I really gravitated to when it came out. And that was probably because I was 21 and, very melancholy most of the time, or mad about the world, how one is at 21. So it kind of really fit. So, but over the years, and I like the song. I think the song's good, and I love some of the lyrics. I really do. But it hasn't stayed with me as much as I kind of liked it at the beginning. But there's something that I've noticed over the years, and there's something that they use, and I'm absolutely going to blame this on Jimmy. But there's kind of a crash in it from time to time, a boom, kind of very, very metallic like boom. Do you know what I'm talking about, John?
Yeah, I do think I
Okay, but so it's the same, almost the same, if not the same, that's used on Debbie Gibson's Electric Youth.
Oh, no.
Yes,
Not
And
Electric
so
Youth.
I
It's
think
electrifying.
it was a terrible song. Absolutely, I always called it Electric Goof. I mean, it's just a horrible song.
We called
So-
it Electric Douche in my mind.
All of it fine, good titles. But so I kind of think it was one of these things that music producers could use, and listening to it now, it's like Dave and Annie created all of these sounds over the years. It's Sweet Dreams. You go back to, they created different sounds by putting them together.
Right.
And this seems like it was something that was, it in a synthesizer or something at the time that people used. And if it's not the same sound that's in Debbie Gibson's single, I would be surprised. But it kind of bugs me to hear it now.
That was the same year, Mark. That was Electric Youth was 1989.
Mhm.
Stay on that same notion of you heard a sound in this and then you hear it. I mean, that's the remix of, King and Queen is like the yeah, that was like, that's a hugely popular sample.
Right.
But there's one thing I was reading, this is a little off track, but it is Eurythmics related. I was reading the reviews of Step on the Beast dogs, and someone mentioned that the bass line in it is exactly the same as the bass line in a Luther Vandross song and a Billy Ocean song. And when you listen to them, it is the same bass line. I mean, it's good. I love it. But it's like to think of like Step on the Beast, which is so obscure, they were still using, I'll drop it in the chat because it's really amusing to hear it once you hear it. So yeah, the same thing with the clap thing.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Clap or whatever it is.
Nick, what did Nick think of the song?
What did I think of the song? So the noise that drew my attention was actually the orchestral hit sample that was found on all sorts of records from the 1980s. I think it was found in the Fairlight. It was probably programmed onto a bunch of other synthesizers, Yamaha, Korgs.
It was on every Paula Abdul single mix.
Yes. Pew.
Oh.
Prince. Yeah.
There's actually a documentary about that sample.
Really?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah.
Drop that in the chat too.
I will find it. Making note.
I enjoyed the flute textures on the song too that appear on the chorus. I don't think that any is credited with a flute on the record, but it was probably synthesized in that case. Nonetheless, I enjoy it. The song's average, maybe a little above average, I suppose. When I go back and listen to it, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like it's fine. I was in love with the Straight Guy when I finally got the CD out, and I just remember listening to the song and like, you hurt me and I hate you. So I did get a little mileage out of the song. He did send me a naked picture years later. I'm like, ooh, I dodged a bullet there.
What is that?
A lot of people think this should have been a single. I disagree.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, David's mom.
Yeah. Does anyone else think it should have been a single?
Over Revival.
Oh.
Yeah. But a lot of people, I mean, you see them, there are a lot of people will say that should have been a single. And
the lyrics.
Agreed. Yeah, but they aren't good lyrics. Yeah. So I don't know.
That might save it for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't get over the quaint rhyme. Like that's what always stopped it. To me, that's right up there with let's go to Texas, that's where we golf. Madonna, I love New York. Like bad rhymes in a song. It like stops it in its tracks for me. But other than that, I guess I do like it.
Confessions on the Dance Floor. I love that.
Oh, she's working with Stuart Price again. So get your that's going to be a
right. Confessions 2, right?
Confessions 2.
Let me quote Clem Stombaugh again because he sent me something about You Hurt Me. He says this. It's pretty interesting. And he's a poet, I should say this. But anyway, he says the audacity to say it. He's talking about the title, You Hurt Me and I Hate You. The audacity to say it bluntly. Yet her performance is stunningly smooth, a velvet vocal from Annie. So, yeah. It's a very divisive song, isn't it?
I know. So that's why I'm giving it 1 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. I just can't. I don't know. Does anyone else? Oh, Lynn's back. Lynn's back with the sideways. Oh, Jim's got. What does everyone else have? Let me look.
I feel like I want to vote next podcast.
Next podcast. Jeffrey, you have 2 thumbs up. What do you got to say here?
It's not bad. It's an interesting title. Like Pet Shop Boys always have long titles that are like kitschy. It has all the elements. It's just it's not one of their strongest songs, but it's far from weak. It's just far from strong. I mean, like if this would have been a B-side, it would have been like the best B-side ever made.
Yeah, I agree. Move over, grown-up girls.
Right?
Isn't that interesting though that we say things like that because, you know, that you would say, you know, hey, that's a really cool song. But do we put so much on them that we want them to be almost perfect?
They suffer from being too great because I mean, is this Love as a Stranger? No.
You know what else though? I think the
But it's not
sequencing of an
horrible.
album, the way an album sequence really shows how you frame. Because if this song would have been further up on side one, I think I would have liked it a lot more. Coming, like I feel like the fumes of Revival were still kind of lingering over this track.
I listened to this album today, and my biggest comment was if you take all these songs and just listen to them like in a shuffle with like a bunch of other stuff that's not like on an album, a lot of the songs are pretty great and strong. But when you listen to it all together, for some reason, it's just so weak.
It might be the sequencing. I bet Jimmy Iovine did the sequencing of the album. All right.
Even that guy that does the sequencing isn't on here.
Oh, I know. And now we have a special guest on the podcast.
Right?
The guy who sequenced the album. All right. Up next, there's a dinner party. Invited Jennifer, Julia. Now we have another one, Sylvia. I didn't listen to this song much when I bought the CD, but listen to it in the car. Her harmonies are really pretty on the chorus. Like she put some really nice harmonies on the chorus, and her voice sounds great. I feel like the synthesizers, it seems like it's just a little, like it's not quantized a little bit. It just seems like a little offbeat to me in different places. Did anyone else hear that?
I noticed the very primitive nature of the synth strings more so than the timing of it. I would have to listen back to it and then I'll let you know.
All right, Jim, your hand is up. Let's give Sylvia a start.
Well, as far as the timing, I think that may have been intentional. I mean, because maybe they wanted it to sound more like it was being recorded live. There's not a lot of instrumentation in there. If I remember right, there aren't drums on that track.
Right.
I don't even think there are cymbals on that track. But this is one of my top three on this album. I mean, I love this song. Again, it's got the storyline and it's a very sad song, you know, and I got this lyric confused with Angel. This is the one that's got the she wants to fall into a deep sleep and forget about herself.
Yeah, that's this one.
And it's like, wow, are we talking about this, you know, Sylvia killing herself here? And it just is a very intriguing and haunting song.
Is this about Sylvia Plath? Does anyone know?
Ooh, I don't know.
That totally fits, actually.
That's a tragic figure right there. Shit, I forgot to mention Belinda at our dinner party, didn't I?
Yeah.
Any
songs about names or people or women are always interesting and always good. Belinda and Jennifer, of course. Yeah, I mean
Julia. So yeah, they're all good.
She always has. You know, she clearly has an image of something. I don't know if it stems from anyone real or if it's just the name, but it is a very intriguing song. It always has been.
I wonder if they're all extensions of Annie.
Song, yeah.
All right, Nick, what did you think of this one? And then I'll go over to Lynn.
I would definitely put this on the top half of songs in terms of quality. I don't have too many things to say about it other than the synth strings that I mentioned. The chorus is incredibly spacey, whereas some of the other songs on the album, they take up a lot of sonic space in the spectrum. There's a lot of room to breathe here, and I greatly appreciate that. It's a good it's a good palate cleanser from some of the previous songs. The stench from what's the song, Revival or Revenge? Yeah, it's completely gone at this point.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yes.
But don't you guys feel like Sylvia coming after You Hurt Me? That's a nice sequence there. Like the songs complement each other. Lynn, what do you got to say? Oh, you're on mute, my friend. Oh, you're still on mute. Hello?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So 1989 was the first year that I went to London. And I know you're going to all go, what? I had like dark hair, chopped back here, Doc Martens, crinoline skirts. And
awesome.
So here I go to London. And so this is Camden Town, if you all know London, which is where Dave did, The City Never Sleeps. That's where he did the underground. And this paints a picture of the people you see and the women, the girls you see in Camden Town. And I really like this song. And some people have compared this as the Annie and Dave's version of Eleanor Rigby.
I heard that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the line I love is run away to London, lipstick tainted, powder painted, perfume in her hair. We all have seen these girls. I mean, it's just really heartbreaking. I remember that's all I can think of. And if you listen to it today, it's still heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And those are great lyrics.
These people.
Great visual lyrics there.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, not just visual. You can all the senses are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark stars tattooed on her wrist. I mean,
Yeah.
you can just see this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
good song.
So I don't think it's Annie, because I mean, Annie didn't do all that, but
Yeah.
it's her experience in that area, because she was in North London. This is North London. So it's interesting. It's an interesting song.
You think Jimmy was off that day and he didn't ruin it?
He definitely
Yeah, I think so.
had to
I
have been
think
off.
Jimmy was taking
Yes.
it out.
All right, do we have
He
any
was
other
falling
thoughts?
into a deep sleep so he could forget himself.
Oh God, yeah.
Any other thoughts on Sylvia? I give her 2 thumbs up.
How can you not give Sylvia 2
It's
thumbs up?
beautiful.
Yeah. And
Oh,
John, go ahead.
that's not saying anything. Oh, he wants to say something.
I had to last night after listening to it. I had to after the album and listening to Sylvia. I had to play "Baby's Gone Blue" because it's
Oh,
a companion piece to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I could see that.
I totally get that, John.
Yeah.
We tear up, actually. Yeah.
All right. Well, the next song is How Long? What do you guys think of this one?
Thumbs up for Sylvia.
Oh, thumbs up for Sylvia for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who wants to start off on How Long?
I like it. If it was on another album, it would probably be like one of the, like better. I think it just is kind of like out of place, like being second to last.
Right.
But where else is it going to go?
Right.
It's very much like the second to last song on a lot of their albums.
Right.
It's always kind of a strong song. It reminds me a little, 60s vibe. I think it could have fit really well on Peace, actually.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it's a strong song, actually. I mean, it's the weird thing. And so many of you have touched on it, but I think overall, I think a lot of these songs are really, really strong. But I think there is a disconnect with a lot of people for the album as a whole. I mean, How Long is actually a really strong piece on here, but you don't really think about it in the great lexicon of their catalog.
We need Jimmy Bryant here to give us the resequenced version of the album.
Maybe we can convince him to tell us.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on How Long?
It kind of reminds me of something from the Spyro the Dragon soundtrack.
Oh.
That I don't know. So.
Just take my word for it. I can maybe send a link or something afterwards.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Well, do we all give it thumbs up?
I do. Yeah.
I guess.
All right. Well, this is the last Eurythmics songs.
I don't want to go against Mark anymore.
Oh,
just kidding.
I've not criticized you, have I?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, you make me want to actually. This podcast is so fun for me because I actually like learn a lot, and it's fun to just join you guys and be a part of it.
Well, I want to thank your mother because you have been so quiet on some of these podcasts, and you have been so great tonight and articulate.
I know.
Excellent. Yes.
I want Mom to know. Thank you, because you've been great tonight.
Thank you,
Shout
Mom.
out to the moms.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
All right. Well, When the Day Goes Down, the closing track of the album. So I guess that'd be the last song from the Eurythmics in the 1980s, the decade they broke through. I feel like Eurythmics almost always have a strong closing track. They usually start with a good track and then end with a good one. And this is no exception. I think the harmonies again are beautiful on this one. What do you guys think of this song?
It's a great,
Love it.
great way to
Beautiful.
close out, but it definitely feels like very final.
Yeah, it's definitely the end of
Yeah.
an era here.
It's kind of, I actually like that on Savage it was Brand New Day, and on this one it's When the Day Goes Down.
Mm-hmm.
They're both
Mhm.
like, they both are definitely fitting closers.
Hmm.
I almost kind of feel like this one tried to kind of repeat the majesty of Brand New Day, but didn't quite get there. But it's an appropriate, it is appropriate exit to the album.
And the
Maybe
80s.
maybe too much on the nose a little bit too.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. The video is great.
And if you believe the details, you actually see the moment they broke up in that video.
Yes.
They were sitting on the bench. It's in South America, in Buenos Aires, right?
I
And they're
think so,
sitting
yes.
on the bench, and they're both just saying, they're not really breaking up. They're just saying, yeah, almost like this sigh of relief. We're going to go and do something. And I didn't know this until recently when I was doing some research. Dave was already talking about that he was going to be doing the Spiritual Cowboys, his first solo. It wasn't something that happened after they broke up. I have a magazine article that he was already talking about it in 1989, that he was going to do it.
Hmm.
So he had this, what he was going to do. But I really kind of think, I wonder if Eurythmics would have kept recording if they hadn't been pushed. I think there was a push. Either it was Dave, it was the record company, or they just felt they needed to do it. I just always kind of today, I wonder if they hadn't been so felt like they were pushed into it, because they both talk about it, that they weren't in a good mood. They had to bring Jimmy on just to keep them. And so you kind of wonder if they had just taken a break and said, okay, we don't have to do an album every year. We don't have to do that. If they might have survived that, but then again, we wouldn't have Diva,
Right.
and she wouldn't. So you can't do the what ifs all the time, because yeah, it was time. I think it had played its course out, but I
So
don't
I'm
know.
going to run something by the panel here because so few of the 80s bands transitioned into the 90s. We probably can count them on one to two hands, but I feel like had Eurythmics continued on, they could have done something big in the 90s because I think of like Duran Duran with Ordinary World and
Mm.
what's the other song? Cry
Well, most likely,
I'm undone.
Come Undone. I feel like Eurythmics could have gone in that kind of alternative uh direction with a little edgier production and stayed relevant. Same with New Order. They had that hit in the 90s. I've won a place to call my. Is that them?
yeah.
Yeah.
I love New
Brett,
Order.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
feel like,
oh,
yeah. Lynn, did you have something?
so when you think at this point that Annie and David been together romantically or not romantically for 15 years, and I think that, that so much of that time they were not a couple, and they did need to take sort of a step back because they'd been just right there, and they were both starting families at that point. And I think it's easy, and it's kind of, people want to say they were not getting along, and I don't believe they were not getting along. I think they just needed to step back and take a break,
Exactly.
because they were putting out album after album after album. They went from the Tourists, and then less than a year later they were doing In the Garden.
Sure.
So it was boom, 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 boom. And now that in age, what are they? 33, 35, something like that?
I think they're 38 at this point for this album.
What?
I think they're 38 on this album.
She's
Well, he was born in 52, her 54, so we can all
Yeah.
do the math, yeah. Particularly because she wanted to focus on having a family. She had lost a child. She wanted to focus on that. So I think it's just, it seemed a natural thing. I think at the
Right.
time, it was really hard as a fan to have that go on because we loved them and we wanted them to continue. But and then we didn't know that Diva was going to come out in
Right.
3 years, and what a brilliant album that was, and etc.
I can't imagine a world without Diva.
I want to take a different angle on what you just said. Would Eurythmics, if it continued, would they have done really well? So I want to flip. I've always thought of this too. If they had stayed together and they had released Diva pretty much as it is,
Yeah.
I think it would have been a huge flop. I don't think it would have worked. Diva only worked because it was Annie and she had a concept for that. I really don't think the public would have reacted to Diva if it was the exact same thing. If it had been a Eurythmics album, I don't think the public would have embraced it.
I agree. It
I mean,
was
there's no way that yeah, it was so. It couldn't really have worked as that, but you just kind of think like, okay, if she could have, the time was right for that, but you're right about the Duran Duran. That was some of their best work ever.
I liked Electric Barbarella too.
Electric Barbarella, yeah. Now, of course, Diva, it was an album that appealed to many different kinds of people in many generations. But I remember for me, in the scene I was in, Diva was huge with the alternative gays, the queers. And like we really embraced that album and was an album that meant a lot to us, right next to Madonna Erotica. Like those are 92, 93, Diva Erotica everywhere. And Eurythmics, I don't think were as embraced as much by the queer community as Annie Lennox solo. Like we just really she really got into my heart with that album in a different way. But who knows?
It was a beautiful album. I mean, I know we're kind of jumping ahead to talk about Diva.
Right.
I remember during the 90s, you could go now I'd moved from LA, just so we can keep track of my different domiciles. I lived in New York in the 90s. Anybody's apartment I went to in the 90s had Diva there.
Everyone had Diva.
Everybody was listening to Diva.
Even the alternative kid. Like there'd be like Cure, Cure, Sisters of Mercy, Lords of Acid, Diva. Like all right.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so first one is, are we doing Diva next or are we doing Peace next?
Diva next. No, Peace next.
Cool.
We're doing Peace next.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna finish off the Eurythmics and then do the Annie Lennox solo.
Okay.
Finish off.
My second question is, because Who's That Girl video came on and I saw that Bananarama was in there. So is that where Dave and Siobhan first met? And then my next question is, how involved was he in Shakespeare's Sister?
Oh, very involved.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Oh yeah,
he wrote "Stay," didn't he?
Yeah, he and Siobhan wrote.
That's a great song.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, yeah.
Their whole discography is good. I can listen to a Shakespeare's album front to back.
Mm-hmm.
Even more so than some of the.
They're underrated for sure, because it's not just "Stay," it's "Goodbye Cruel World." It's like that "Hello" song. It's like "I Don't Care." They have all kinds of good songs.
What's that? Yeah. There's one on the first album that I love. I can't remember, but they're like going through the water. They're swimming through the water.
Oh, I don't. They're right. Those first two albums were incredible. I mean, and they're
the third album is good too.
When they got back together 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was, that was really, I loved the stuff they did with that. That was great.
Did you ever listen to Kiki D, the British?
Don't go breaking my heart.
Does anyone here have? There's 2 12-inch singles Dave produced. It's called Another Day Comes, Another Day Comes, Another Day Goes. And it's essentially, which band is it? It's kind of in between Be Yourself Tonight and Revenge. So if you listen to those 2 singles, and I'll find the videos for them. It's a
cool
record with Kiki D on lead vocals. Wow. And I think Annie is on uncredited backups. But the band it's like Ollie Romo and I want to say Chucho is on it, and even Dean Garcia.
How interesting. I never knew that.
On what was it on?
Kiki D had it. She had a full album. I don't know that Dave had anything to do with the rest of it, except the single called "Another Day Comes, Another Day Goes." And there's two 12-inch singles, each have different versions, but yeah, it's a really great single, and
Interesting.
all over it.
And I did just find the Shakespeare Sister song I was trying to think of was "Run Silent, Run Deep."
Oh yeah.
Love that song,
Yes.
especially the single remix where Marcello Detroit does even more parts than the album version. All right, When the Day Goes Down. Thumbs up from everybody. Nick, did you have anything to say about this one?
Not a whole lot. So Dave Stewart spent some time discussing this in his autobiography, but not a whole lot to say. He just said that it was one of his favorite songs on the album. For me, it's very middle of the road. And I'll be reflected with my rating.
So we still have a couple things to talk about. Do you guys have still another half hour in you?
What?
I'm gonna have to go.
Uh,
I have to
But I'll
get
see you guys at the next one.
okay, we'll see you in the next one.
I have to go shortly too.
Guys,
You want to
So-
rate?
Do you guys want to do live at the beginning of the piece one? We can start with the live one and then go into
Yes.
piece. Okay,
Yeah,
well, let's do that
do that.
because I am tired. But let's all chat for a second before we pause. Okay.
I was all ready for the half hour.
Oh shit. Well, okay. Before we do anything, does anyone want to mention anything about the We Two Are One B-sides? Precious, See No Evil, Rich Girl. I have nothing to say.
I love Rich Girl and I love Precious.
Love Rich
Girl didn't make the remasters. I don't know why. That's ridiculous. I see no evil. I don't think a lot about that, but I like the B-sides. I love the piano at the beginning of Rich Girl. I love that.
All right.
That's it. That's it.
I have two more things to say. Is there anybody who's leaving that really has anything to say about the live album? Because if not,
I love the acoustic version of
we can stay and finish up the live album. If those that are leaving don't have anything.
I Love You Like a Ball and Chain, amazing version. Great version of There Must Be an Angel. And
Actually, let's just do it with everybody next time. I would vote for, because I need to actually listen to more of it.
See, I am not going to listen to it, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, keep going then. I'll just sit here.
Yeah, let's finish up because I
go,
feel like
guys.
it's this
I like
era.
Ball and Chain
Bye, Jim.
live.
Let's rank.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys for peace.
Let's rank We Two Are One really quick. On a scale of 1 to 10, Jim, you go first, so then you can dip out.
All right, 7.
7.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you next time. All right, John.
I have to go 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
All right, Lynn.
Ever the optimist, I would say 8.75.
Shit.
Wow.
Okay. Mark Stevens.
Oh, you're going to be surprised. I'm not giving it a 10, aren't you?
Yeah, we sure are.
Probably 8.5, just simply because I don't think it's lasted as long as their other albums, in the sense of the thing is, I don't dislike a single song on this album. I don't. I can listen to this album all the way through. I can enjoy it. Don't ask me why. It's one of my favorite songs ever, absolutely ever. And so I don't dislike this album. I just think it hasn't had as much staying power as the others.
Right.
And I don't know how to explain that other than it's Jimmy.
Yeah, I blame Jimmy.
That's the common
Jim.
denominator
Blame it
right
on
there.
Jimmy.
I know, and how dare him do that, because Dave didn't do it to Stevie.
I know. In Your Dreams is such a good album.
It is.
Jeffrey.
I don't know, like I feel like 6 is too high, but I think I'm gonna give it a 6. I like the songs individually. Overall, I just think it's like not, if there's something doesn't work. I can't put my finger on it, but I mean, I think we've all touched on our various theories.
All right, Nick, what do you give this one?
I'm going to echo all the sentiments that were said here. Songs on their own are perfectly fine, but it lacks a certain amount of cohesion that some of the other albums do possess. I think an 8.3 is very charitable,
Oh,
and I'll
shit.
give it that.
Right on.
You're up with me, Nick. Thank
I
you.
am,
Aw.
of course. I don't want to leave you stranded.
Aw.
Thank you.
David.
I'm going to go with the 7.75 because it's still, even though, I like it so much more than I ever did, like on the re-listen, it's probably my least favorite of the Eurythmics. So I'm going to go with 7.75.
Well, since Nick joined Lynn at the top, guess I'm gonna have to join Jeffrey at the bottom because I think I give it a 6 as well. I mean, if I'm going, I don't know if you can see my room, like I have thousands of CDs. I don't think I've ever walked up and been like, let's listen to We Two Are One. Like I just don't think that day has ever happened in my life. And there's so many, these songs are okay, and some of them are even good. Maybe some are almost great or great, but there's some great Eurythmics albums, like great. And like there's this album doesn't provide something that I can't get better somewhere else, I guess. But
Mhm.
I guess I give it a 6. Well, anyway, so the 80s ended, and it was so interesting that when the 90s came, all of our beloved 80s people just kind of got, I don't want to say washed up, but pop culture moved really fast.
Mm.
So then this kind of became the thing that everyone had in their CD collection. Like everyone kind of sold their
Yep.
vinyl and got rid of their vinyl. So a lot of the 80s people kind of got reduced to a greatest hits collection at one point. And that's kind of what happened with this. Don't you guys feel like?
To some extent, and it's sad because they have so many great tracks that are not on there.
Right.
Well, but that's the flip side. That the U.S. version of Greatest Hits is one of the most is an abomination.
Yeah.
The UK version is totally different. It's got all their hits on it. Arista didn't try to, because Arista put in the King and Queen of America on it. They put in When Tomorrow Comes, which was never a single in the U.S. They didn't include. Did they not include Sex Crime or
No.
That was for life.
the UK version? The rest of the world got the proper Greatest Hits, and it was 10 weeks at number 1 in England, 9 weeks in a row, and then there was a space. It just missed out slightly on being the biggest album of 1991 in England.
Wow.
It was that powerful, and it was an absolute. It got to what 72 or something in the U.S.
That's right.
But it was a
I had
terrible,
these singles.
terrible version. The
What was
video
that?
album is incredible. You've got all of their videos up to that point, with the exception of Revival, on that video album. But what Arista did to that and why they did it, I would love to know what was their thought process, other than it seemed like, okay, we're going to put a lot of our things from the album that we own on here so we can get more royalties off it or something.
Sure.
I don't know. But why they didn't put, I mean, what was it, 14 tracks and it was 18
Yep.
elsewhere, and it just didn't make any sense. I'll never understand that.
They included the extended version of Sweet Dreams, which I thought was kind
They
of
did.
weird.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was cool. I mean, you get something different, and that's okay. I always like that. It's the only place we ever got it. It's not. It's not on the Ultimate Collection or on the remasters either. So it's the only place you got it, in the sense of a CD.
So
There's this 3-inch CD with it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, the 3-inch CD. Yeah,
Which I
right.
think I have somewhere. So what year did the greatest hits come out? 91?
91.
So then the next thing that came out was this, the live, which had the 2-disc version in the UK with the acoustic sampler, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Was this 93?
Yes.
So by this time, it kind of felt like they're just like it almost felt like a contractual obligation.
And it probably was.
Yeah, it probably was.
It was.
I listened to it a few times. It always bothered me that it wasn't chronological. It was kind of just.
It is chronological. That is. It is.
Yeah.
Chronological by
By
choice.
tracks. I gotta
tracks.
bounce now.
But
Bye.
Bye.
But
But
don't they use songs from later tours, even though the tracks are chronological?
mm-mm. That's my big problem with the album, is that Missionary Man, the best version of it, in my opinion, is the Revival Tour version.
Okay.
And my other thing is, I don't know why they had 1983 to 1989 when they could have had 1981 to 1990, because they don't include any of the live versions of songs from In the Garden, which were crazy good.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not. I think they're not there because of the chronological aspect, and they wanted to start.
They still wanted a kind of a bit more of a hit album.
Right.
Something
Yes.
concentrate more on their hits than their like history.
Yeah, but
Plus,
I love Eurythmics live. I mean, in general, I mean, I love them when they're live. I think they just are so incredible. So I particularly like the Eurythmics live album, and I like the concept of, okay, we're going to take it chronologically and we're going to do that. But I think you kind of miss out on, like, some of the later versions were really good. Some of the Take Me to Your Heart should have been on the. I mean, they did a great version of that even on the Touch tour, and In the Garden and the Sweet Dreams tour, and it's not even included. But
So
so
Mark,
it's kind of weird.
looking at the lineup here, I think what threw me off is, like, we have a Here Comes the Rain Again from '86, which I thought was, not the year of that song. It was from a later tour. Sex Crimes also from '86. And didn't they have performances that were more spirited from the...
Sex Crimes never performed live before
Okay.
1996. So it had to be there. And
Okay.
it was opened the Revenge tour, which was insane, greatly, so good.
And David, didn't you kind of make a joke about the cover art in the
John
chat?
did.
What?
I thought their worst cover art, except now when I look at the greatest hits, it was the greatest hits. That's the worst. I'll take the Eurythmics live artwork over greatest hits artwork.
John, I'm
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question because I actually picked one out because my mom's like, oh, I should get a Eurythmics CD. So I picked a compilation one out. Now I want to know, because I'm probably going to feel bad. What is the best Eurythmics compilation album?
Ultimate is better. I think.
Ultimate.
Okay, I did get that one.
I would say the UK version of Greatest Hits is the best.
See, that's what I kind of
I
was.
want to check that out, Mark. I didn't
You
know
don't
about that.
you don't know about the UK?
Maybe I don't. I guess I don't.
I don't think I do either. I didn't know they were different.
Right now I need dinner in the restroom.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, sorry, Lynn.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any other thoughts on live before we wrap up this era of the Eurythmics? Yes,
Well,
Lynn.
one thing I wanted to say, the acoustic, there was a little CD with this one that had 5 acoustic songs. Do you remember? Was that with this one?
That's this one, right? With
The
the
bonus one, yeah.
The bonus. That was brilliant. It was all
acoustic
the
medley.
That's from the Revival tour, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was wonderful.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I listened to it constantly.
All right. Well, we have finished out phase 1 of Eurythmics. We've gone from track 1, English Summer, all the way through to When the Day Goes Down. We even talked about live. Any other thoughts on live or greatest hits? I just wanted to touch on them because they're part of the discography. All right. Well, Lynn, I don't want to keep you from your dinner. And I also probably should go to sleep because I haven't had any. But much love to you guys.
I'm going to say goodbye.
Yes.
Bye, Lynn.
Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time.
It was a lot
Bye.
of fun, except for Jimmy.
Yeah, stupid Jimmy. Final thought, Jimmy. Boo.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.
So much fun. Thank you.